set up. We're ready to rock and roll. Listos, what's up, raza? What's going down, Brown? Tu sabes, you know how we get down. We're here live at the homeboy's office, Alfred's shop. It's Tuesday the 2nd. This is the 1st.
Today's the 1st.
Today's the 1st.
The 1st.
July.
Yes, sir. All day. Oh, man. Golly, what a week, man. What a week. What a week.
What a week. What a crazy week. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing this beautiful day, you know? Not every day does the sun shine, so you got your ups and downs. We have our ups and downs, but hey, be thankful and be blessed that you're here today, that you're able to be able to breathe, talk, walk.
That's right.
And live, smell, taste, have all your limbs, that you're straight, that you're forward, that you're all right, that your eyes are blinking. And man, you know what? It's a blessing. Too many bad news all week, you know. All weekend is just bombarded with all kinds of stuff. The fires are being set off. About those, I can't say it like that on YouTube. So, unaliving the people through the cuetazos, homie. The locals out there running all kinds of this papaye. There's drunks out there. There's everything that you could think of. There's even those vatos all masked up, gaffling up people, chasing everybody, even if it's an old lady. They see an old lady like, oh, that's 1,000 bolas. Oh, hell yeah, ka-ching. You know, like they get a kick out of it, you know. I've spoken with somebody that has family that works for the National Guard, the homeboy, right there by the Holly, and he's all like, man, my cousin don't want to do that crap, homie. You know, he's half Mexican, you know, and he's screwed, you know, the other part is Asian. But they got to do what they got to do. Right, Alfred? So how's the Facebook world doing out there? How's YouTube world? How's the yarda doing, homie? We ready for the cuetazos, homie? You ready to talk about other man, homie? You ready to put men down? You ready to bring up a story and talk about vatos and the comadrismo, lo que está pasando? Lefty Gunplay was out there by himself, homie. He was all doped up, and that's what's the hot news right now. Lefty Gunplay got caught out there by himself, doped up, and like, oh man, oh, he vatos on him, homie. What you ought to do is go over there and talk to him. Instead, talk about him. You should go talk to him, homie. See, there's a difference when you need to go speak to somebody. Have some good, wise words, because you've been there, you know. You've done that. How many times you didn't catch yourself out there all doped up, all crazy, and end up in the middle of nowhere? Raise your hand, homie. Jeez. I end up there all locoted out at 2, 3 in the morning. Man, Alfred, I used to walk the streets PCP'd out at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, homie. Like, what was wrong with me, you know? Nobody really took the audacity nor the time to go speak to me. And eventually, you grow up to be rebellious.
Yep. And
pick up a case or two, and you get over there, you get caught up with all the madness, and next thing you know, you're picking up time, man. You know? Let me see. Oh, there you go. There you go. So what's up, Alfred? How was your weekend, homie?
Oh, man. Well, the weekend was good, bro. We're getting ready for summer, man. It's picking up. Some kids are already out to school, man. So they're getting ready, getting all prepped up, and it's happening, man. Summer is here. Finally, we're going to get a break. Some of you that are, have been taking the kids early in the morning, bro, trying to get there on time before 8 a.m., trying to rush out, or if not, they get a tardy. You know how that goes. But yeah, happily, man, we're blessed. Like you mentioned earlier, yeah. We're blessed just to be alive, just to be able to breathe, just to be able to say, thank you, God, for this great day that you're giving us. We're employed, so, although things are going around us, but, we're so thankful that, we have life, bro.
Yeah, that's true. On that note, lift up Rose in prayer. She had to take off up north on emergency, and uplift her with her familia, and thank God everything turned out okay. So hopefully she comes back soon. And Haven't seen her for about a week or so, you know. But saludos del Centro Cali, Valle Imperial. What's up, man? Furman, what's up? Who else is on here? Anybody else is on here?
YouTube is barely waking up, man.
Come on,
the YouTube
wake up,
Yarda, man,
homie.
is waking up, man.
Come on, homitos, wake up, rise and shine, homie. Let's do this, homie. Let's talk politica, gang violence, and talk about other men, homie. That's the way we should do it, dog.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good way to have discussion. I mean, come on now.
Nah,
You know?
we can't, you know. I'm gonna be like that vato. I ain't gonna say where is he from, and he's all like, "Oh yeah, I bodybuild, but you know what? I want to talk about this other vato. But let me tell you about the gluteus maximus, my mandibular." Vato's a trip. He'll talk about the whole body, then he'll go into politics.
Oh man,
You're going like, whoa, homie, you know, like, what the heck, dog? Either stick with the rutinas or you talk about other men. But he mixes it. I don't know, dog. I really do. I trip out. You know, you bump into a lot of people. We went to, back in the day on Saturday, and we were tired because that was our 4th show, you know, and sure enough, we go over there and we see a lot of gente. Hey, what's up, man? How you been? Hey, what's going down? And everything was feeding me. But there was a vato that he went up to another dude with the hyenas there, and he starts trying to swing at that other vato.
What?
Yeah, like.
Was he drink? Was he? No?
Probably.
Maybe.
But,
Yeah,
but
right?
see, here's the thing that I trip out on. That vato, I think, is the owner of a podcast. Okay?
Gotcha.
How would he like it if somebody went to his podcast and threw up putazos there in his guantazos in his podcast?
No, bro.
You know, a lot of people don't know that, you know, it takes a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of time, and a lot of finances and to mastermind a show like that.
That's right.
You know, and just to go kick it off and have some violence because something must have happened or whatever the case might have been. And you know, I'm like, man, homie, this is freaking bull crap. You should go with him, go talk to him, go take him to the corner, homie. You don't just take flight on them right there, homie, you know? Like, hey, homies, let's go to the side and just ping, ping, ping. One time I had a show and it was an Easter picnic and Avato waited until the guy went to the restroom and nobody was in the restroom. Now, the restroom was far. You know, it was on the other side. And he just went over there and dropped the food. Pow, pow.
Oh,
1,
wow.
2, co-cocked them and dropped them, you know? And I'm like, you know, after when the whole mayhem and everything happened, I'm like, hey, Holmes, this is an event. He goes, hey, Holmes, I did it in the restroom, away from everybody, not these restrooms, the restrooms way over there.
Privately.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, then. And the vato walks out, the big old shiner, you know?
Golly.
He sold him a stolen car,
Jeez.
you know? So he ended up doing time, and that was it. But he was able to take that somewhere else, homie, you know, where people couldn't see. So I got to give him the props for that. But see, that's what we got to do. You know, we have to be men about it. But really, in reality, Holmes, you know what I mean? If you could let it go, feed him. If you can't, then go take a little walk, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
go handle it. But that's what had happened this weekend. So I told homeboy, it's all right, dog. If he comes at you again, just tell me, let's go to the back. And then all of a sudden, the level 10s came out and everybody. And, you know, like,
Yeah.
I ain't got time for that, homie.
much.
I ain't got time for no politics, who, what, when, where, kid. We just roll. We just go do our own thing. And I was gone, homie, with my kids. And vámonos, you know. Seen the homeboy Chunky. It was packed.
Oh, wow.
But it was windy.
It was
you know?
windy.
Yeah, real windy.
Yeah, usually I've heard that every I think it gets pretty hot over there. So I was thinking, man, since summer's kicking off, it's gonna be pretty hot over there. But it got windy, so that's
yeah,
good.
it was real windy. It wasn't too hot. It was just windy. Then next thing you know, there was a fire there, right there in Silver Lake, the back of Silver Lake Wood. You know.
Wow.
So it was okay, but it turned out real feed, man. Despite of all that, all the winds, all the thank God I didn't take my product out there, because all the product was
Flying out.
flying and dusty.
Oh man. Yeah.
I was like, oh man, thank God I didn't bring. So what we did, we just brought the little wagon with all the toppers and the car plaques, and I was able to make a little feria. So It was a blessing.
That's
you
good.
know.
That's
we
good,
just
man.
we got to go support. This is the first time I went out there to the desert, and I never been to the desert, out there with them.
Right, right,
So I
right.
finally went, but it was good. I went live. You know what I mean?
It was off the hook. Yeah, it was off the hook. I heard all about it. It's 4 years, bro. 4 years in a row. These guys have been doing that. So
Yeah.
much props. Victorville's on the map finally, right? The desert, right? Because you hear all the stuff that's happening here in L.A.
Yeah.
or around the outskirts around L.A. and OC. But I'm glad that Riverside and Victorville is coming quickly into the map, man.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty firme out there, It's like only like the bad areas are like Adelanto or Apple Valley on the other side, all the gente that got found unalive and buried out there,
yeah.
And it's pretty crazy out there, It's I've heard so many stories, I've seen so much stuff, like you know what, this papaya out there, but at least something good and positive is being coming out of there,
That's good.
It's pretty firme, but all in all, you still got to go support your gente that support you,
That's right.
Despite of what's taking place right now, we got to look everything real closely, I really don't like speaking politics. I don't like speaking about what's taking place, but, we have to voice it out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have to speak what's taking place, I was just reading that the naturalized citizens are next.
Yeah.
Any civil case or any violation of fraud, of anything that has to do with Medicare, Medi-Cal, food stamps, you lied, or any kind of issues like that. As I said, they're next. They're building the facility out there at the swamps.
Yeah, Florida, right? The Alcatraz. What is it? Cayman Alcatraz, the Alligator Island. Golly, man.
And then by the 1st, I think September 1st, they're gonna revoke 500,000
Haitians. That's right.
The Haitians. Oh man, that's deep, homie.
Yeah.
The Morenos, they've been speaking a lot about, boy, it's not our fight. It's not our fight. And I get it. I don't expect for them to jump. They've already been through so much. When you study the government, when you literally study history, the government, and all what's taking place and what took place, and how they stripped us from everything, how they fought over the Alamo and the riots, the civil rights movement, man, the assassinations and all that, Holmes. When you study all that, man, it just blows your mind. When you read about it, the FBI of COINTELPRO and all that, the Brown Berets, the Black Panther Party, what they did to us, and Black Wall Street, and the scientists doing science tests on our raza, on the Morenos, and it gets you wondering and thinking, like, how far are they willing to go and and do stuff to us, you really got to study. Oh, that's back then. Yeah, I get it. That was back then. But at the same time, gente like that with an evil heart, they do come back, homie, you study of who got accepted, who got their visas, who got citizenship between the Morenos, the Asians, and the Raza and the Gabachos, and you could see your whole status, like where's the feria at, when and indeed there's communities that get involved and start putting in for the brown dollar, something always happens, especially with the Morenos, the black dollar. And you might think and wonder, like, well, what are you talking about? Yeah, you gotta thrive in order for you to succeed. You know, you got to push, and you build your community. How do you build it? Well, the first thing they do is they put a bank, you know. They said that the problem with us is the first thing that we do, Raza and the blacks, we build a church, you know. So,
Yeah.
you know, how do you thrive? You thrive through the bank, you know. But it's okay if and indeed we do build the church, because we walk by faith and not by sight, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you need healing, you need understanding, you know, and if the government ain't gonna give you the treatment, the help, the psychological help that what has happened through all this tiempo with all of us, you know, and not give us education, not give us that, well, at least they let us worship a God that's free like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool with it, you know, long as they teach me business in there too, you know. I've attended a church one time where this vato told me all the things that was gonna come to pass while I'm on parole, and I didn't even have a dime in my pocket, homie. And it was true. Everything that he told me, it came to pass, homie. I didn't understand it, but it was business, you know. They did teach business. They did teach all kinds of things of how to invest your feria, you know. And the most important thing, it was to invest in people. If you invest in people, then God is gonna invest in you. He's gonna find a way. It's funny because you could sit here and try to figure things out, and next thing you know, God will send you the people. See, you have faith, small as a mustard seed. Long as you have that faith, you're able to withstand anything that comes your way. It's going to be obstacles. It's going to be hurdles. It's going to be deserts. It's going to be all that. But long as you have faith and you believe on what you believe deep down inside your heart that things are going to happen, oh, they're going to happen, homie. Nothing that you do is in vain. And you have to realize and analyze that. You might have a dream, you might have a vision, you might have a desire to do something, but it's your desire, it's your dream, it's your goal, and it's your behind that needs to get up and need to go pursue it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sit there and wait till it comes to you. It doesn't come to you that way. It don't work that way. You have to go hustle it. You have to go move it. You have to go push it. You have to go shake them trees, knock on them doors. Like N-Dub said, out of 100, one will say yes.
True.
99 no, and that one will be yes. But that one is very important for you to understand, you know? And God puts you through these trials for you to keep on pushing. You know I need the bank, but I think I'd rather have the church than the bank in the community. You know, if we have that church in the community, then it teaches you something. It teaches you morals. It teaches you how to carry yourself right, how to work with people, how to understand people. Excuse me, the coffee. But all in all, it teaches you really how to be humble.
True.
How to digest everything properly, where you're not overwhelmed with things, and if you are, you're able to analyze everything, sit back and dissect everything, for you to be a better person. Who's coming your way, who's not, you know. And you got to understand all those things, that every person that comes your way, he's not there to help, homie. You know. And you must be able to tell who's there to help, who's not there to help. The majority of the time they come for help. It's not like, hey, I got this for you, I got that for you. It don't work that way, you know. But if you have a little dream, a little vision, a little desire to go do something, then go do it, man. You're never too old, you know. Moses was out there, 80 something years old, and he was fighting like if he was 40. That means he was still a warrior, you know. He died like 100 and something, you know. He was able to see the promised land, you know. He didn't go into the promised land. They were rebellious. They didn't want to do what God told them to do, you know. The 40 years could have been 2 weeks, but they refused to go through the whole 2 weeks, you know. Their shoes never wore down. You know, it's funny because, you know, all this time that we've been invested in this business, you know, we see the ups and downs, and we mostly see more downs than we do ups. But it's okay, because if we came this far, if he seen me this far, then why wouldn't he see me no more? Why would he close the doors on me? And if he does, it's okay. I know the formula. I know how to do it. I now know how to come back even stronger. See, I can't give up. You got to understand that whatever life throws at you, you must be able to discern everything and run with that bad boy. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that it was going to be easy. There's times of laughter. There's times of cry.
Mm-hmm.
There's times of sorrowness. There's times to think. There's times to speak. There's times to take a pause and analyze everything, you know? But nowhere does it say it was going to be easy. Nothing has been easy for nobody. You know, I go on social media. I see all the mayhem that takes place. All the MAGAs and all the vatos that are against ICE, and, you know, and everybody's putting something. And what are your thoughts, Facebook says. They want to put it all in a big old pot of bowl. Say, hey, put it all together. That's your thought. Hey, that's what you're thinking. Is it really what you're thinking? Is it really what you're going through? You know, I hardly ever post anything that I'm going through on social media, because it's really nobody's business. The only business that it belongs to is between me and God. And I try to find myself way out of it, you know. But once in a while, I'll put something up, or a reel, whatever the case might be. But deep down issues, I don't put people on blast like that. I don't. Because I don't need a social media to help me to go put people on blast. See, people like myself, we're old school. We'll give you a call, homie, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Say, hombre, let's talk man to man, you know? Don't let social media give you a life that you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let social media create something for you that you're not. You know, you can't be a follower. You can't be like that. See, life is not like that. That's why it tells you, what are your thoughts? What are you going through? I feel like a counselor at times when I tune in and I open it up. You know, every time that I'm there, I'm either talking about car shows, talking about what's taking place, or who, what, when, where. See, I don't need to sit here and boast of the things that I go through. I don't need to boast of my ups and not my downs. I speak about everything that I can. And it's mostly encouragement. See, what I've been through in my life, it would be a waste not to speak on certain issues, how to find your way out. See, it's so easy to get caught up and become famous and, oh, what do you do? Oh, you do reels, you do this. I see you at car shows, you do. It's so easy to do that. But I want to hear how you break things down when you're going through your ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
When your Hannah has left you, when you're ready to open up that can of beer, to down it and to chuck it, because you know what? You're trying to escape reality. See, I'm not a psychologist like that where I'm going to charge $100 an hour. I don't do that. And I know you don't have $100, $200 an hour to be spending that failure. But if I'm going through something, I'll expose certain things so you could see what worked for me, and it's able probably to work for you. You know, the social media that we have is to be aware, is to be trucha, is to grow up, is to understand, is to be able to feel the gente that's helping you out, you know? Órale, firme, you're going to help me out, cool, I got this for you, I got that for you, and it opens up doors. See, but if you want to post a food or whatever, that's fine. But it's not always about food. It's not always about driving your ranfla. It's not always about bumping the music, you know? If so, then that's firme. But don't let it be a habit. Sit down and study the gente and analyze what they're going through, because you're going to have to need the clecha sooner or later. The ball is going to be on your court, and how are you going to deal with it? How are you going to dribble it? How are you going to shoot it? How are you going to run with that bad boy? You know, it's very important that you analyze yourself, contemplate on life, feel it, understand it. And if somebody needs a help, hey, give them a helping hand, homie. We're so quick to judge. We're so quick to bash. We're so quick to get rich and not forget about the next man coming up. Oh, it's about me. It's not about you. It's about everybody else. You're smiling, you shake people's hands, greet them, whatever color they are, it don't matter. If they disrespect you, then that's a different story. You know? I notice a lot of tensions out there right now. I notice a lot of people don't have the Trump stickers no more. Some of them do. Rare, you don't see it no more. And when the gabachos see you, they kind of look away. The same thing with us. We look at them, we just look away. Who are they? Are they ICE? Are they somebody? Are they racist? Are they down with the game that's being played right now? You know? Do I judge just because right away that has happened? No, I say Cuba. You know, I look away. I'm gone. I'm gone about my business. Too much strife, too much issues, too many problems are going out there. Turn on the news, it's nothing but bad news. Kids ain't going to school. People are getting deported. Now they're sending them off to third world countries. You know? The fashionists over there protesting and bringing in people, bald-headed, white shirts, white socks, and white boxers, like if they're protesting about Bukele in El Salvador. You know, it's hard when you see all these things, what's taking place in Iran, Israel, and all this papaya that's taking place. Russia wants to get involved. China's holding back everything. Canada's waiting on United States, what move we're going to make. And the gabachos there just pointing, and he's rich. He don't care about anybody else. He's making rules and regulations that it's going to affect it. Just like every 60, 70 years, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this. And it takes a hit. We take a hit. We go down to Mexico, then we got to worry about the whole this papaya that's taking place. See, wherever you go, there's mayhem, there's strife, you know? But it all begins in your community. And what's in your community? The church.
Mm-hmm.
You, an understanding of you. How do you cope with things? How do you have a relationship with God? Is it up and down? You know, my relationship with God is crazy. Times I'm mad. Times I want to fight. Times I want to cuss. Times I'm waiting on him. But yet it's probably the same thing with him. He's waiting on me. You know, I'm imperfect. See, when you walk into this world, when you're doing your things and you know that you shouldn't be alive and you're blessed, you look at the world differently. You look at people different. Like there's no time for anything else. That time is right. The right for you to get right. Your heart, your mind, and your spirit. You know? That was Tony Fuimos. And it's time for you to get right. It's time for you to understand what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
I look at life different. As it comes and goes, I meet people and don't meet people. You know, like, yeah, I was filming this weekend. Navato threw a can and my son kicked it out. And I was ready, like, what's up with this fool, you know? Like, ready to smash his whole face. But yet he was drunk. He was without a shirt. Man boobs hanging out. There's Vato in the stomach, like 40 years old. Vato was like 50 something, and it's like with the dog. You look at it like, I'll beat the living crap out of this fool. Do I humiliate him in front of his hyena? Nah, I don't do that. I just let it go because I know what I'm capable of. But see, that made me understand that some people are not in your lane. Some people are not in your eyesight. Some people are not in your path.
Mm-hmm.
They're just there to throw you a can while you're recording. And those people are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
See, they don't understand themselves. See, how are you going to be 50-something years old with some cut-off shorts without your T-shirt, a panza hanging out, your vado, you think you're still young, with your beat-up hyena next to you and a pit bull next to you with the rope?
Mm.
That told me everything about it, about himself. You know? Do I get down with them? Which I know I could have. Do I go over there and go raise hell? For what?
Mm-hmm.
It's just hate. They don't want to see another brown brother coming up. They don't want to see a brown young brother with my son. He's coming up and he's going to make it. My son got mad right away and kicked him back the can. You know? Kicked it back towards him, to his hyena. Like, man, you know? But I told my son, it's okay. You know? That goes to show you that fools that bark ain't about nothing. How you gonna let a kid kick a can towards your hyena? Same can you threw. You know? Told my son, it's okay. You know? Screw these fools. Let's go to this other side. But you're gonna bump into people like that want to throw a can. They don't have a life. They don't have understanding. They don't have no morals. They don't have no respect. You know? I'm going to tell you one thing. I'm full of tattoos. I have my barrio in my stomach. All Azteca out on my shirt. I got a shirt. I got a whole shirt. Even the head, back of the head. They're old. But why would I walk into a community? How would I walk into a party without my shirt off? To show off where I've been? Mm-hmm. To show off that, hey, I was bad. I was once in that location of incarceration. I was once this. I was once that. That's the main keyword. You were.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't no more. You're no man now. You got white hairs. You got wrinkles. You got crow's feet. That's it. We ain't young no more. You know, when I go to the ocean or wherever I'm at, I never take off my shirt. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed of what I've done out of myself, out of my body. And I got to understand that scripture. Your body is your temple. I understood it. Every time I go in the water, I have a tank top, even though you can still see the water and all that. It's just I don't feel right. You know, I don't feel right. I feel like a warrior. I feel like a sureño. I feel like I was back in the joint. I feel like I gotta go prove something to somebody. I gotta show off this machismo. Those are my scars. Those are my battle pictures and my medallas and all that. For what? For nothing, homie. For nada. Didn't give me no 401k. Give me no retirement. All I did was just gave me stupid pride. I fulfilled everything to the fullest. I rode all the way, never locked it up. Never PC'd up, never told on nobody. Never pointed a finger. Shut the heck up and I did it all the way. With a lot of pain, strife, suffering. Not only for me, but for my loved ones and for my mom. Rest in peace. But I was ignorant like that man, holding that dog with the rope and not even a chain, not even a collar around the dog. I was able to analyze that them people like that are always going to be around you. When you shine and when you move forward and you understand what God has said and path for you, in your path, people will always hate you.
Mm-hmm.
They'll never understand you. They'll throw that can in front of you. Long as you know who you are, long as you know what you're doing, long as you keep on pushing, you'll be all right. You're going to mosey on through. You're going to go from the left to the right and keep on stepping. And don't worry about what's taking place. Your job is not to worry about that man, because that man like that, without the Lisa and all that pride and all that anger and all that stupidity and all that alcohol, he's leading himself to self-destruction, and he never learned all that time in prison. He never understood how much value was in his life. And the table turns and turns and it repeats itself. Back again to the same mamadas always.
Mm-hmm.
You never grow. You never move in life. Stay that same old mama's boy or state-raised individual. Your mind doesn't expand. It doesn't grow. Your visions and the dreams are shut down, are small. You want to push, you want this, but yet you don't go out there and go get it. You don't want to dust yourself off. You don't want to cover up your tattoos. See, somebody that has tacas and walks around with pride like that, pride comes before a fall. Why do I want to freaking fall, homie? Been falling my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
See, you walk around like that, that's nonsense. You still take pride in what took place back in your days. At times I look at my tattoos and I get a little teary-eyed because I know why I got this and I know why I got that. And I know why I put this there. And I know what I did it for. I did it out of anger. I did it because I thought I was a soldier. I did it because where I lived at through the calles, I wanted to mark myself. Let it be burned in my heart, in my skin, and in my mind, and in my soul. Wherever I went, it would remind me who I was, where I came from, and where am I going. Straight destruction. Now I look at them like old pieces of artwork that never meant anything. Irrelevant. Today I was working in my shop and all the powder comes on me. I take off my shirt because I love working without my shirt. My tank top is off and I'm just working away. I love to work just like that. Let it cover me with dirt. No hay pedo. I was washing it today and I stopped and that powder from the block of the polishing of the metal, it was green like the tattoos. And I rubbed it and I stopped and I looked at it. Only if they could vanish like the way that this powder is vanishing out of me. But that's my mark. That's my history. I don't take pride in that. That's a clecha that I've learned to advance in life. And to try to hold up the next individual that's trying to come up. The wisdom and the knowledge that you picked up through life, it's only right that you turn around and try to help somebody out. They don't want it. Hey, that's fine. Next man. The individual's older. Hey, it's only right that he knows it. But if he don't want to know it, he don't want to learn it. Like they say, you can't teach an old dog a new trick. Hey, it is what it is. You tried your best to feed me. Bounce. But you yourself, you correct yourself. And when you find yourself doing wrong, hey, dispensa, it's done. My bad, homie. You know? Sorry. Dispensa, I'm out of here. Boom. Understand that then people have feelings too, you know? And if you're wrong, just admit it and that's it. There's no need to be blasting it out through social media. Ain't no need to be blasting people on social media. Today I was reading, oh, my man did this, my man did that. Oh, he was texting this other girl, and I seen it today. And people were putting laughing faces. You know the funny thing? It only makes that Hana look stupid. Not the vato, because the vato's doing this holly. Like if the Hana never even did that before. Come on, homie. Miss me with that. We've all fell short. Everybody. And the vato's there in this picture with that other Hana. Then that's them. But like Facebook says, what's in your mind? What are your thoughts? Stuff like that, that's hard. You got to understand, you got to keep your composure. You got to keep your cool. Be cool about things. Analyze everything. Everything will be okay. Not everybody, you got to know your business, where you're moving from left to right, or who's done you wrong. And that's feeding, man. People has done me wrong always. If I see somebody working with them, just be careful, though. I'm not here to hate. I'm not here to smash on nobody like that, dog. But, this is what took place. Just be careful. Be cordial about things.
Mm-hmm.
Be professional. Be right. If things don't fit you, then that's feeding, man. Go on your way. But it all starts with the church and the community. That's deep.
100%, man. Hey, man, I was listening to what you were saying, man. Hey, by the way, shout out to Anthony Bravo, who's been adding on the Instagram. Oh, bro. Hey, I think YouTube Yarda is coming alive, bro. Shout out to Anthony Bravo. We have Joe official Joe. He's 100%. Shout out to Cubo, Anthony, Alfred, my brothers. Then it says, Anthony Bravo says, we're once followers, but now no mores. And then Bosco626 says, sorry, man, we got an alert here, 100%. Then have empathy for people. I think they're following your drift here.
Yeah, they say we were followers, but no more. Shout, yeah, which is true. We followed a path. We followed the destruction that we thought we were cool. We follow a lifestyle that it was a dead end. We follow a lifestyle that it would lead you to 6 feet under or behind bars.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I feel for those fools that got shipped out there to El Salvador. I believe that they should have a fair trial. That's my opinion. Because I'm going to tell you one thing. In the gang, homie, in the gang life, you have your dropouts, you have your chesters, you have your rapists, you have your snitches, you have all that. You have of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Of everything now, friend. And they say they are murderers. Not all of them are murderers, homie. I believe that they deserve a fair trial, and we once lived that lifestyle, like we mentioned, the homeboy mentioned, which is true, of self-destruction. A lifestyle that lied. A lifestyle that we kept on leading into the propaganda of to be the baddest dude. Go to the best prison. Go to the best yard. Do this, do that. Be the baddest dude. The sad part now is that to heck with the 3 strikes, to heck with Pete Wilson, to heck with all these prisons, they're going to start shipping people out. They're going to start shipping them out to these third world countries. Trump said homegrown. Homegrown. Better be ready. Thank God that I got out when it was time to get out, And now it's all destruction. Now it's all mixed up. Everything's just falling, and everybody's pointing the finger at everybody. Everybody's all scanted out, and ain't no money for nothing no more. When you parole, that's it. Ain't no money and no retirement. There's no nada.
Mm-hmm.
We once lived that lifestyle. What about you, Alfred? You take pride in your tattoos, homie?
I believe it or not, I do have one tattoo, bro. One tattoo, bro. So I do. It's just a reminder. I think you're right in the money, man. You're hitting it right in the money. What you're saying is completely factual. These things that we have is just a reminder of, our past. We can't, unless you want to remove them, right, and forget your past. But they mold you, they build you to what you are now. So you can't forget, how they impact your life. They're there. It's kind of like the scars, right? I don't know about you guys. Many of you got operations, maybe you gotten shot, and these scars are there as a reminder of what occurred during that time. Yeah, so I mean, what you're saying is just factual. You're just saying like, hey, we can't forget. But I'm on point with what you're saying, man. A lot of this stuff, I think you and I we've seen this routine happen all again. I mean, think about this, guys. For the most part, this was something that was happening back in the 1990s. The riots, right? It was back to where people pointing the communities into one another. And we had a time to really reflect, throughout the times, right? Through the Obama, through the George W. Bush, as we look at it, this being political, we had a time for the community to really say, papas, enough is enough. Yeah. This is it's something that's so common, right? This happens every 4 years, right? I mean, we're looking at everything that comes out. Whenever there's a new president, what happens? They're throwing all these flowers at you, right? Saying, I want your vote. I want your vote. I want everything. I want everything. I want your community to support my, what my plans are to help you, to provide well-being for you. But at the end of the day, man, it ends up with just being words. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because we are pinned again. When is enough enough? I'm talking to you, people out there that seen this more than 2 to 3 times. When is enough is enough? And I think that's one thing that we were talking the last couple of weeks when Joe and Endo were here. We're saying this is what's so common. You know what I mean? Somebody else comes into power, boom, now he's, he takes on a drift, and now we start complaining about, this, and everybody's pinned against each other, because I'm sure within the community here, some people voted for Trump, right? And some people say, now I regret, right? But this happens every 4 years. And the community and you and I, we see this all the time. Yeah. I mean, we're seeing, the divisions between the race, between immigrants. Think about it. I mean, haven't we seen this? I mean, first it was, I'm looking at the news cycle, right? Because it moves so fast. Mm-hmm. I mean, first it was Palestine. First it was, BLM. I mean, think about it. It's so constant. It's constantly, right? But yet again, everything that happens, happens like you mentioned. It all starts with the community. Yeah. How are we as a community? I like what you said. The church is also in the center of the community. Yeah. God is the center of the community. Some of you might not be religious. We're not. But we're saying we have a notion, in a sense, who God is. So therefore, we must gravitate to what's important to us: family, faith. You know what I mean? And education, to educate our community members and start building these things inside of our communities. Because at the end of the day, nobody can force us as a community. So we must bring it into the community. We must bring these discussions. We must have open discussions where we're all different. It's kind of like, we're a big family, but we think differently sometimes too. Yeah, that's true. But we need to agree. And that's what happens all the time. Every 4 years, somebody comes out here and tells us the Democrat Party is the best for you. Somebody comes around in 4 years, the Republican Party is the best for you. The Libertarian Party, every 4 years this happens. Yeah. But at the end of the day, haven't we learned that this is what they do? Yeah. I always say this. It's one bird, 2 wings. Yeah. But they're working jointly to accomplish what they need to accomplish, which is at the end of the day, to take advantage of people, of races, of communities. Because guess what? They're coming into our communities and ravaging, stealing, right? But at the same time, man, haven't we had enough as a community?
Yeah, that's true, bro. I agree. And the next question they're gonna hit us with: are you gonna celebrate 4th of July?
I know that.
I'm not. I don't no more. You know, to me, as long as we had a little barbecue cake back at the pad, I'm cool with that. You know,
Yeah.
Not no more. Back then, oh yeah, you know. But it wasn't so much about the celebration of the independence. It was more like we had the biggest fireworks.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
But I'm not. No, I think Norwalk's gonna have a big old thing, and you know, kids could go home. I'm just gonna kick it. You know, I think that what we're going through right now to celebrate something that, having the gente like that and what we're going through is kind of like depressing. You know,
Yeah.
I have to be careful, and you know, even though it doesn't affect me because I was born here,
Mm-hmm.
but still, you know, I still keep trucha, look around, you know, especially when I come out of Jale. Sometimes when I'm all full of dust and everything, I look like a freaking hardworking paisa. You know, I mean, I do, dog, you know. I have to be careful when I'm pumping gas or whatever. I just try not to get caught up or deal with these individuals that want to come and approach me with the mask on. You know, it's like, you know, when you live that lifestyle, bro, and you see the Huda right away drawing his weapon, like, hey, your best, if you ain't gonna do nothing in return or try to fight them, I fought them before. It's two things: either you're gonna fight or you're gonna run. Mm-hmm. And most of the time, I was running. Yeah. I'm gonna run. I don't have a weapon with me. I have my hands up. I'm running, especially if there was 3, 4, whatever. And you know, now that I'm heavier, I'm older, I can't run like that. Like jump the fences, I can't do that. But still, I gotta keep trucha, you know. And especially if somebody comes up to me, masked man or whatever, with the cuete, like, who in the hell are you? I say, you know. Just because they have a jumpsuit on doesn't mean that they're representing who they're representing, you know. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times that instincts kicks in, like, what's up, homie? You know, and right away you got to defend yourself, answer questions later, you know.
Yeah.
And just get down with those fools, you know. Of course, the Huda's going to put a calentada on you, you know. Mm-hmm. And after that, just drag you in there and make up all kinds of charges, you know. Oh, they'll make up all kinds of them. Like I told you, I faced the immigration one time because I had a stolen car, you know, and I pulled up next to it. You know, I know they can't convict me because it was a DA reject. But I had a Ranfla, and we were going to do Jales, and they found everything in the car while we were pumping gas. But the homeboy was on the other side with his car. So we left the stolen car there. I went to the homeboy, and they tried to pin it on us. I'm like, that ain't my car. What are you talking about? They're like, yeah, you guys are gang members. He was a gabacho. Excuse me. He was a gabacho. And like, nah, we don't know what you're talking about. You know, sure enough, they impound both cars, take us in, you know.
Golly. And
we're like, hey, man, that ain't my Ranfla. I didn't get caught in it or buy it. You know, I'm cool. You know, and took me in, and he said, well, you know what? Where were you born at? Here. And he put down Mexico. You know, and that's how he did me dirty. Sure enough, I ended up beating the case because, I mean, nobody's in the car. The car was away from us. Mm-hmm. Somebody was putting gas. It wasn't me.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because he had rolled up, and sure enough, you know, all these Hudas done all kinds of shady stuff.
It's happened, bro. Do you remember we had ex-police officer here, remember from the Rampart? Mm-hmm. He was in here, remember? A couple years ago. He was in here giving testimonies that this is something that, you know. Ruben. Yeah. Ruben. Shout out to Ruben if he's listening. Hey, shout out to Michelle Bibero says, I'm watching from Norwalk, yo.
Oh, what's up, Michelle? How you doing?
You know, so yeah, Ruben was in here talking about, hey, you know, this is
The setups.
the setups and the stuff. So
Yeah.
it happens. It happened.
One time I was in a high-speed chase and they put a calentada on me. He put a beating on me, boy. You know?
Well, the thing is, they can look at your record and they can say, this guy's had enough, man. This is already the 13th time this month.
Yeah, they caught me. They put a calentada on me. I remember, and it was nothing but steel-toe boots on my head.
Golly.
And I was all, watch, I ain't lying, bro. I was all beat up, right? And they were like stomping on me. And this was on the other side where the gabachos at. Like, Norwalk was nothing but white people, bro.
Really?
Yeah, bro. There was raza towards the one-ways, towards
okay.
Carmela's area.
Right.
There was families here and there, but it wasn't where like when the 50s came, all those residentials, they were mostly white.
Wow.
You know, my neighbors from my grandma in the 70s, they were still gabachos. You know, but there was raza there. I'm not going to lie. There was some raza here and there, especially by the one-ways, especially by the barrio and Carmela's area. All those were like farm areas. Anyways, they caught me in the Gabacho area in the early 90s. And there's still some there. It's mostly raza now, you know. But I knew that they were cheering at the juras. They were like, yeah, yeah. But right when they put a beating on me, a homegirl comes out of the pad. And she's all like, hey, leave him alone. That's it, man. What the heck you guys doing with that kid? And they put a beating on me. And he's all like, did you get that? Did you get that? Yeah, I got it. And it was a .38 revolver.
Wow.
You know, like, yeah, I got it. Like, that ain't even my gun. I don't use handguns.
Golly.
I use shotguns, assault rifles. I did, you know. And after that, they freaking got me, and they're taking pictures, and the guy's all like, oh, we got a criminal off the streets. And it was all Gabacho area there, bro.
Wow.
Right there in Norwalk and the Parkside area, it was all Gabachos. And our son goes, and you know what? Fuel the fire, bro. You know, I regret it now, you know, but my jefita always taught me. She always told me, be careful with the gabachos. Guard your heart. They don't look at you the same like them. They don't like us, you know, and she always put that in my life, you know. Son malos, you know. No los quieren, you know.
Yeah.
She never told me the stories, but she explained those things to me. So every time I seen white people, you know, I always thought that they were evil, you know.
Right.
And then they drag me out. I'm all beat up, bro, right? And I'm all beat up, and they take me out, and they're like, hey, they all clap. All of them. They all clap, homie. There was a lot of them there. There was nothing but white people there. I remember it clearly. And, you know, they're taking this thug off the street, and the juras there, and there were gabachos, and they were taking me in, you know, they were gabachos.
Well, they had a story. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the alibi. You know what I mean? So they
Yeah.
had an alibi. So this was good. This was something that was good in front of the community, because now not only did they caught a young man, but they also had a gun, safety for everybody, right? so it's you know, by the end of the day,
But
you're the one who got one who got the end of the bad, you know,
But
bad
the
situation.
story don't end there, homie.
Holy man.
So I'm beat up, right?
Yeah.
I'm all, man, I swear, bro, I was black and blue. They beat the crap out of me, and I was in a high-speed chase. And they take me towards the Jura car, and they're all clapping, the gabachos. Yeah, good job, officer. You know, and that fueled my flames within inside of me, dog. And I go, wait up. You know, and they had the door open, and they thought I was going to give a statement to these gente.
Right.
On everything I love, Alfred. I put that on my kids, homie. I stopped everybody, dog. And I went like this. You white pieces of
Golly.
You racist mother. You know? And they're trying to put me in. You'll never get rid of me, mother. You know?
The rage, the anger. Yeah.
The F-bombs and everything, and they're trying to shove me in there. And I remember the gabachilla, like old lady, she like...
Yeah, you know, shocked. Completely shocked.
Oh,
yeah,
now
like,
that was the cherry on top. God, you know? Like, take him away. Roll him out of here. He's a threat to society.
Madness.
You know, and I was like, man, I'll never forget. They were all white people, bro. All of them. There was not one raza. The raza was the lady on the other side that she lived in the apartments.
Oh, right.
You know, but all that residential area was all gabachos, and they were out there like, oh, good job, officers. Outstanding. Thank you for your support, officers.
Services.
You know, like, oh man. Then I end up just bouncing, homie. You know, put me away, and that's it. You know, I was blessed. You know. Okay, Vince Downey. He wants to put something out there. Check this out. I'm just gonna put this out there in the open because I've been heavy on my mind. Why in the hell did the female mayor put notice on the two towns that were minding their business? Minding their business, immigration towards the people in the world, especially in California, based on, to me, one thing, and that is Mexican, beautiful language. No race should be penalized for what God is responsible for. If he's talking about the vice mayor, this is my input. Somebody brought that up. It's a good subject.
He's talking about the one from Kare, right?
Yeah, the vice mayor.
That she said that people, the homeboy should...
He called out the barrios. I'm not going to say the barrios.
Gotcha, yeah.
But I'm going to say all barrios.
Gotcha.
It's true what she said. Now, let's break it down real good so people don't flip this around.
Sure.
Like they did with her. It's very true. They're in everybody's barrios. And it's not that we expect for you to rebel and cause mayhem and cause issues and problems. But it would be nice to see an organization out there to send out some gente to do some protest. It would be nice to Vatos have their barrios and holding up some signs to have a little protest here and there. That would be nice, you know? I want to see barrios united. I want to see homeboys that don't get along, get along. I want to see some things. I want to see some actions. I want to see my people grow. See, when you go to the joint, that's what they teach you. What's the use of just having it in the joint and not out here?
That's something that I've been meaning to ask you because it's so important. And what you're saying is good. It's in a sense, but you also got to take in consideration that sometimes, you know, it's kind of like, you know, fueling the fire. I'm gonna be honest. Your opinion is great. What people are talking about, this vice mayor talking about calling out, you know, for a higher. Think about it. I would have loved for her to come by and said, "Hey, listen, I would love to have a town hall with all of you guys in the community so we can discuss this further." I would have loved that. I honestly would have loved for her to say, "Hey, I want to bring so and so and so and so and so here into our community, and we can have an open table conversation on how we can make this a better situation for our communities." But the way she brought it out and the way it's worded, it's in a sense, it's calling you out in a sense where what's it gonna do? Yeah. This is what do you expect homeboys to do? Yeah. See what I'm saying? Like, what do you expect, people in the community with that particular lifestyle to do? What are they gonna do? Yeah. Invite you to church? You know, I'm just saying in a sense. Yeah, I'm using that I think, like you said, like you mentioned, you know, she should have brought something out. Yeah.
an example.
Yeah, exactly.
She is a leader, you know, but I think her anger spoke for her.
Yeah,
And
100%.
calling these barrios out, you
Sure.
should have never done that, especially when you call out them people,
Yeah.
that specific
Specific.
barrios.
Exactly. Specific.
And you do know that one of their barrios that she mentioned, it has been bombarded with the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
They've been bombarded by the state, by the federal, gang injunctions. They've
Sure.
been through so much, you know. I'm not having pity on them, but they've been through so much. They already taken care of what they need to take care of. They're already facing their oppositions. They're already facing their cases. They're like, really,
Yeah.
you know, you can't speak about peace. You can't speak about unity. You can't speak about bringing them together. Can we do something about this? Can we speak of something positive? Not just those two in clicas, but all the clicas. All of them to get together, to have a peace treaty and understanding of something of Varios Unidos like back in the days, you know?
100%. Anthony, I think for the most part, I would have loved, as you mentioned, this was a leader. This is somebody in the community that could have influenced in a much better broad. I get it, 100%. You let your anger go. But in the same sense, think about it. This is what they're already seeing.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Are you going to call out everybody and say, yeah, now do you want to put the community into the eye of the hurricane again to say, oh, yeah, this is what fueling more to the fire where now what they're going to do? Act more violent?
Yeah.
Act more, do what they got to do? Because that's what
And
it
then
sounded
one
to
of
me.
them has been shipped out to, been fighting the extraditing them for Bukele's prison.
Yeah.
You know, one of the names that she mentioned.
Yeah.
I mean, a gang that she mentioned, and like, really? Do you really gotta bash them harder?
Yeah.
You know, like, you know. But I understand her anger. I understand where she was trying to get at, but she worded everything wrong. You know.
Yeah.
But I agree with her to get something going. You know, you know, we're here and they're going through the neighborhood like, hey, can we get something going? Can we start something off?
Yeah.
Can we kick something off? You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be violence.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily have to be that. So, you know, and that's not what we're looking for. You know, we're looking for organization, for structure, representation, you know, even, sounding off the alarm when they're getting there or whatever the case might be. Lately, I heard nothing but honks be going out through the cars. And eventually ICE has to go. But it's going to be harder because that bill just passed. So he's going to hire 10,000 new ICE agents.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's going to be harder. And believe me, they're going to go door by door, homie.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen, though.
You said it. You said it.
All the
I think
things,
you said it. Yep.
Yeah, all the things that has happened, I've called it out. And I've told the people, oh, man, from what? Since 2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago.
They go, hey, bro, look, homeboy's going to come back, and he's going to come back strong. And the paisas, they ignore me, the ones in downtown.
Yeah.
Like, hey, bro, he's going to come back. He's going to come back strong. Look, this happened with the White House. That means if he comes back, I know he's going to win.
Vengeance.
You know?
It's gonna come
And
with
look,
vengeance.
it's going to be good for the economy, for the rich people. It's going to be good for that. I ain't going to lie. But the rest is going to come back on all you guys and us.
Yeah.
And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, he's going to come back hard. You're going to see him in the streets. They're going to gaffle you guys up. And sure enough, it was true, dog. And I would tell all the vendors, save your money, homie. Yeah. Save your money. They're going to come out. They're going to come strong. They're going to gaffle you up. They're going to do the sweeps, homie. And they're like, nah, ¿crees que lo van a say? There's too many riots. They would tell me, there's too many riots. And I'll go, no, homie. He's going to come back strong.
You can only fund riots so much, man.
Yeah.
I'm saying you can only organize, you know, I could say, you can only organize, or organizations just only have enough money to organize these events for so long.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I would have loved for these leaders, people that are out there, people that have these abilities to have conversation with people. Man, it's time to organize, but do it in a way where, hey, listen, we're going to apply. At the end of the day, man, we got to look at for what it is.
Yeah.
You know, they're moving they're moving quickly.
Yeah.
And they're moving it in a sense where, you know, federal law is not being injuncted or broken. You know, like you mentioned, you said earlier that you know, about the cases, some, you know, bypass some of these cases. You know, they don't have the right, or some of these are, you know, some people do not have the right to fight certain cases in federal court. 100% agree. Because at the end, you know, they're moving and saying, well, federal court doesn't even allow them to. Within 24 hours, they need to be moved out. That's why, what do you think they're saying that now? I don't know if you noticed, but I was looking at another news cycle that the 6,075, I guess, encounters at the border, and none of them got sent back into the U.S. What does that tell you? That some people are not going into any federal court or any facilities. They're just, boom, right in. You're confirmed. You're out.
You're out. Yeah.
You see what I mean? And a lot of people, we can scream and shout, but at the end of the day, you know, what does the federal law says?
Yeah.
It's the process.
Yeah.
You know, be thankful that we're allowing them 24 hours, because at the end of the day, federal law says you got 6 hours. Yeah. So it's like, so you know what I mean? So you got to move quickly.
Yeah.
You know?
It's hard, homie.
It's tough.
Know?
It's tough.
When you study history, and like you mentioned, we need leaders, we need individuals to really push.
Yeah,
really,
we do.
You know, it's sad because most leaders get unalive.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
they were like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, look at all the Black Panthers.
Yeah.
They're done. Except for what? One pulled in, 20-something years?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was nowhere near the homicide, you know? But when you're a threat, when you're an organizer, when you have structure and people follow you, you're a big threat, you know? What about Martin Luther King? Look at him, you know? You know, it's a trip that when you, I study all these things. Man, Alfred, I go back to from the Civil War to the Mexican War to the last, man, homie, I love, every time I'm there, I'm reading something on the internet or whatever book I have or whatever. I like to be knowledgeable of things, you know? And I go back to the story of Martin Luther King. Why did he get unalive, you know? Why? Where was it at? What took place? Who was near him? What was under the radar for him? What was the discussion? Why did they really try to sabotage the plan of him and Malcolm X coming together and Che Guevara being there and the Socialist Party? And like, you start studying, like, wow, they all got done up. All of them. All of them. Like, but even the Reverend got done up. Yeah, homie. You know, they use your own people, you know? Yeah. When it comes down to the time it took place, they're like, the book says, aim for the one without the suit and tie. And next to him was his gente without a suit and tie, and they always wore a suit and tie. Yeah. You know? It's like, did they know? Did they see all this? You know? When you start studying COINTELPRO and from the FBI, you're like, what, for reals? Even the Brown Berets?
Bro.
Even us?
Yeah, bro. The
you
infiltration.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want no leaders. They don't want no structure. Break everything down. They just want everything to be the way they want it to be. And interest rates here, color and segregation here. And it's like, wait a minute. Where are we at? Where do we stand? I'm American. You're an American to a limit. Oh, you're free to do whatever you like. Yeah, I'm free, but let's level off the field, you know?
Yeah.
Let my kids go to good schools like yours. Don't let me be stuck here. Yeah. Don't throw a pawn shop there with some lottery tickets and a liquor store and a pipe shop next and a tobacco place with Yesca, a pharmacy for the Yesca there. You know, let's level off the field, you know? Why do I got to have nothing but fast foods around me, you know? And every place has alcohol around there. They grant them licenses. Let's level off the field here, you know? Give me a good fighting chance.
Right.
So I could send my kids into a good school. You know? I don't have to kill myself and try to work for the union and I could only make so much and I still got to pay the mortgage and the mortgage is sky high and it's like, whoa, where's my balance at?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you already start off with a pair of twos in your life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's our kickback? Where's our finances, you know? You know, this was Mexico. Oh, they sold it. They sold it. Well, besides selling it, what took place and breaking contract and all that, it shouldn't have been sold to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you lost it. You lost it. Wait. First and foremost, somos indios, way. We're nopales, homie.
Yeah.
Our skin color ain't white, homie. You know?
Yeah.
So who's breaking what ground? You know, it gets hard, homie. You know, it gets deep. And, you know, at times I want to rise up and really organize something and give a structure. But then what? Have the feds behind me? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Spy my pad and bug my phones and all that. That's the last thing I need, homie. You know?
The stress.
The stress, bro.
Yeah.
You know? But I will talk to people one by one, talk to them when I need to or whatever. If I see something wrong, I'll speak on it right there and then, you know? If I see ice or whatever, hey, Holmes, what the F is your problem?
Yeah.
You're brown too, no seas menso, way. Your last name is Gomez, no seas pendejo, way.
Yeah.
You know, come on, really, dog. Think, homie. Oh, well, this is my job. No, homie. They make you think that's your job, homie. You can tell me you can't be a Jura, go do something? The Juras ain't getting involved. And you know what, dog? Serio pedo, Alfred? Big shout outs to the Juras right now, dog. Right now is the only time that, I'm not saying the only time, but right now is the time to give them their props, homie. Mm-hmm. Right now, they're the ones you got to give them the props. Oh, why, Anthony? They're with the lot. Listen, homie. They're the ones that come out when you call a 911 a kidnapping. They verify whether or not that's an ICE agent, homie. Because they tell I'm a nice agent. Well, anybody could say that they're a nice agent,
Right.
but they'll verify. Yeah, that is an agent. We cannot get involved. I apologize. And they got to pull back while they're dragging him inside the car.
Yeah.
And I know that kills the Juras, dog. I know it kills them because that's not their job. Their job is to put away criminals.
Mm-hmm.
They're putting away good people.
Yeah.
They're putting away, what's the percentage? 30% out of 100% that they're criminals?
Yeah.
You know? And I know that breaks their heart. As for the racist one, which I know they are, they're probably smiling, laughing. Yeah, that's right. Deep down in their heart, they are.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay. What's ever in darkness is going to come out to light. It's going to come back and bite you, whether you like it or not, you know? But it's okay.
Yeah.
Right now is the time, like, hey, man, you know, when I see no Jura, every time when I'm next to him or whatever, I see him there, hey, thank you for what you're doing right now, Holmes. And they look at me like, what? Homeboy, let that out time? Like, yeah, man. Trying to intervene when these things are happening. You could only do so much.
Yeah.
You know? And they tell me, yeah, it's true. I go, but at least you verified that it is ICE agents.
Yeah.
And they ain't kidnapping the people like that, like a regular John Doe.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's because you know that there's a difference between the jurisdictions, right?
Yes.
Because police officers are actually locally. They're considered more for the municipalities, so they're here local. A lot of the people that are coming in to the communities are actually federal. So they're agents coming out from outskirts, and they're coming from everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're hitting places where there's a huge, concentration of illegal immigration. And I think that's one of the things that, that you're seeing. That's why you're seeing a lot of people in masks.
Yeah.
But, a lot of them do have credentials saying they're ICE or police. But you're right. There's just the way they're doing it, the fear mongering, things like that.
And I said this. I was a hardcore criminal, dog.
Mm-hmm.
When they came down, the gabachos were there, and I was rebellious or whatever. They came for me.
Right.
They didn't come for that lady in that door that opened the door and told them, hey, leave that kid alone. They didn't come for her, homie. They came for me. So if they came suited and booted with the mask and everything and the whole riot gear ready to come and get me, the community wasn't scared. Right. The community knew that they were coming after a criminal. Right. See, I was an ex-criminal. I was an ex-convict. That was my life. I had all that coming and some, homie. I get that part. But when they're coming for tencha and de los lonches, even the traileras, because if you don't speak Spanish, you're screwed.
That's true.
You know, there goes your jale. But they're coming after all them gente, and it's like they come suited and booted with masks, and they come in and, you know, with the cuetes, the AR-15s, and it's like you terrified the whole neighborhood. You traumatize the neighborhood because they're looking for certain kind of distinctions of a brown person. Not a blonde person, a brown person. Yeah. And last time I checked and you checked, you have a brocha that is black. Might be a little gabachito, but in reality, you can still see the nopal in front of your head. You know? They're looking for them type of gente, them raza gente, you know, and that gets a little scary. You know, that gets you thinking.
The profiling. The profiling, right?
Mandatory. So that gets you a little thinking like, you know, lately, I've been driving around, like I mentioned, like with my guard up, keeping trucha, you know, a van pulls up or whatever, you know, because you might just not get that firme vato, that cool agent or whatever, and you just want to come out, you're American citizen, you know, like, because they're going to hire 10,000 new agents, foot soldiers.
Foot soldiers, yeah.
These fools are going to be militia. These fools are money hungry, racist vatos, vida loca, and get them in there, and that's it. You know, they're gonna go after anybody that might look like he don't got papers, but yet he's still a Mexican. You know, so you know, next time about the word, you know what I mean, tell me, this is my job, and he's raza. Couldn't you get another job in another agency, homie? You already got hired here. Go work for the correctional officer or something, homie. Go work for something else, dog. You don't have to get it.
Well, there, you know, a lot of them come in with a what is it called? It's a hiring, you know, a bonus.
Yeah.
You know. So, So they come in with the hiring bonus, and so.
Yeah, they want that bonus right away.
Yeah.
You know, they want that feria right away. And that sucks. But hey, if they want to do that, that's fine. If they could go home, go sleep at night, I'm good. I put somebody away, you know, la viejita, whatever. Let's get out of the way, you know.
Yeah, and then I'm hearing that there's, you know, people just with years of being here. See, that's one of the things, man, that bro, it's just a lot of people. A lot of the stories that I hear is people that have been here for 20, 30 years.
Don't get caught up with nothing. No criminal record.
No criminal records. Or no nothing.
And I get it. You know, the news will pump it up too, where why'd you get arrested? I was just there, man.
What were you doing there?
That young vato from Walmart threw the can in front of the car.
Exactly.
Okay, you're going to get gaffled up.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like...
And then the high now, she's an American. She's, you know, and then they gaffle her up. Why was she arrested? Because she obstructed the officer.
Well, yeah, stop it.
If you're running, if Bahura's running, and you throw your foot out there, homie, that's obstructing a case, homie.
Right there.
You catch a case,
It's
dog.
federal.
Not even
federal?
state. It's federal.
It's federal, yeah.
So if you do this and the vato's running and you throw your hand out there, which they didn't show that in film.
Yeah.
The Hina said, and she was a UCLA student, right? Golly. You could tell they're like liberals to the mother sucker, you know? Oh, no, I didn't know you said nada, yo. I didn't do nothing. They just took me in. No, what did you really do, fool?
I mean, the truth is this, man. I mean, to be realistically, man, both this thing here is that's how it's done. It's done in a sense where, hey, people believe that should be something that, you know, that should be okay with. Yeah. But in a sense, you know, it's also, like you said, obstructing a police officer from doing what they're supposed to.
Yeah.
So
that's a case.
You guys gotta be careful, man.
Yeah. You know, you can only do so much, dog. Like, you know, you could videotape, and you know what I mean. If he tells you stand back, you stand back. You know what I mean. But you could say all the words you want, f you, f that, all the f bombs you can. You know what I mean. But when you're a threat to the case, then they could take you in, dog. You know, they could take you in. But other than that, you know, you just gotta be careful. Don't get caught up. And you know, I heard they're gonna start deporting all the people now with naturalized citizens.
Yeah, those people with the green card and all that stuff. See, but
work holders or what work permits. They're gone, dog.
But see, that's what I'm saying. We are fueling this, right? We are fueling this because at the end, look, are they doing it to break any kind of law? When they're saying, hey, we're entitled to do something according to the law. Yeah. And the law says that if you break the law, if you do something, even though you're a green card holder, you gotta go, papas, back to wherever you came from. That's why I said, don't jeopardize it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just stay calm, stay peaceful. You know, that's why, you know, a lot of people, bro, come on. The First Amendment gives you the right to protest, to speak your mind, as long as you don't use violence. Yeah. And you don't break windows, and you don't do all the stuff that a lot of people were caught up doing in the last riot, burning cars and doing all this. Is that part of the First Amendment?
He said that the one in Bell Gardens, I think, when they threw the bomb, and they went inside the house, and the hyenas there with their kids, and we're looking for him. And then they got him out on bail. Yeah, he turned himself in, and they said because he ran the vehicle into the jura.
Imagine. I mean, how do you fight that? I mean, how does that look when you're going into a public defender and saying, "Oh yeah, you grabbed him, right? You went after him. That was a wrong thing." Yeah, but he was throwing his car at us.
And his words it was an accident.
Yeah, well, the thing is, man, nowadays cameras, you know, police officers have cameras. Yeah. So you got to be careful now.
Yeah, you just got to be careful and don't obstruct the.
Yeah, man, just do it. Hey, do it peacefully. I'm here to stand. You know,
I'm gonna record you. Then
I'm recording. Nothing happens. Nobody gets hurt. You don't get hurt. For my safety.
You know, nobody gets beat up. Nobody nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and then Lavato that got beat up. You know, they show the other film, and he has that weed whacker. Oh. And he turned it down like this, like stand back, and he still held it. You know, like.
But see what we saw in the news. What did we saw in the news?
The beatdown.
The beatdown, exactly. The beatdown. But the guy was like full swinging with the weed whacker.
Yeah, that's that is a weapon. You gotta be careful. You know, certain things. You know, like just like the way you word it, the way you speak it. Yeah. That you don't threaten nobody. You know how to speak, and that way they never hold charges against you. You know. You know, you could protest all you want. You
call
up the companies and call them up and get them out. You know, or whatever. Like, hey, be careful. Hey, you know, like, you know, you could always do that. But when you threaten them, you know, if you don't get them out, you know, like.
Realistically, man, we have people. I mean, we have people on video. I mean, people in video and in pictures. And they're full on screaming at the police officers, and the officers telling them like, bro, we don't even have jurisdiction of what they're doing. Yeah. We're here to keep the peace. They don't care. And people don't care.
You know, like when you would see one and you would say, you better get out of here before you know what's best for you.
Yeah.
See, that's a threat.
Well, yeah.
That's a threat, homie. You know?
Yeah. But people don't say that after the fifth firecracker that gets thrown at them. Like, hey, you better get,
you know. Or else.
Yeah, or else.
Those are threats. I mean, a lot of people don't know that, you know. You know, when they threaten me on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, Facebook really, I go, hey, Holmes, you're smart enough to know that that's a threat, what you just said, right?
Yeah. And it's
they'll put a like on it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, my bad. Like, you're a dummy, homie. You're incriminating yourself, you know? That's how smart.
And it's on video. And it's a screenshot, right?
Yeah, like, man, you know what? This guy's so dumb, he don't even know what he's talking about, you know? Stan said, let the gabachos go out there and go do all the jale and do all. It's true. Mm-hmm. But then again, like this is what I'm going to say, Stan. This one's for Stan. Stan the man.
Stan the man.
I know the cuts on the taxes, and we pay taxes, the paisas pay taxes, all this and that. But the less the gente here, they look at it this way, the less issues they're gonna have to worry about. Mm-hmm. So the less that the taxes are being paid, it's okay because it's gonna dwindle down to the size that these vatos want it at. Right. Is it wrong? Yeah, it is wrong. But if they done without them before, they'll do without them again. The only time they ever brought them in was for like the Bracero program.
Right.
You know, or the World War II when they really needed the gente to come back in.
Right.
You know, so the more they dwindled everything down, the less expenses they're gonna worry about. You know, but it's hard. You know, it sucks. And
the amnesty, Anthony. I think the amnesty. I mean, we've done this before where Trump actually talked about it. I heard him saying, "Look, I am for immigration as long as it's legal," and he's willing to say, "Hey, we're gonna." There's conversations again. I read and I was reading about it that they do want to encourage legal immigration for people that do have the capabilities of being laborers and come here legally. In fact, you know, over the last years, I mean, I was doing a research because I do read too. I was doing a research and saying why, you know, the amount of Mexicans coming into the U.S. to work has dwindled down. It's dropped. The percentages have dropped from, you know, the labor force of Mexico has dropped. And the only thing I can think of is because there's just so much of other nationalities or other immigrants coming in that unfortunately, you know, some of our people are saying like, "Papas, I'm not going to go in there and battle it out and be making less than what I could have made." So a lot of it becomes a labor war internally between who does it cheaper, and that just creates a lot of, you know, it creates a lot of heat between an economy, local economy.
And they're already cutting out Social Security for undocumented people or people that don't qualify, you know. No more. That don't qualify no more because they did qualify before, but not no more. They're going to strip all that away. Mm-hmm. And I think this, homie, and I'm being honest. If and indeed you're here for all them years, homie, mm-hmm. there's no need for you to live here no more, dog. I'm going to tell you why. If and indeed you come out here, you make a career, you make a life, you work for the union, you're ready to retire, grab all that feria mm-hmm. and move out of here, dog. Go back to Mexico, dog. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, you go back. Listen. The only thing that we pay in Mexico, dog, the only thing that we pay here in the United States, comparing the difference between Mexico and here, you pay for safety.
Yeah.
Protection.
100%.
That's the only thing, dog.
Yeah.
Over there, they get down with the Juras, and they fight toe to toe with the Juras. The Juras will go down there that are corrupt and hassle you or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if you could go live at a community where everything is locked and everything's secured and all that, mm-hmm. have yourself a freedom at time down there, dog. Mm-hmm. You could live good down there, homie.
Cost of living is
when you don't get caught up with nothing, homie, and you know everybody, you know, and what's taking place or whatever. Hey, what's up, homie? You know, and you hear these stories. That, oh, man, you know what? The communities like this, the community, long as you don't get involved, you're good. Long as you know them, hey, firme, ¿cómo estás? Hey, you want a soda? You want something? You know, You don't be a punk. You don't be a jerk because they know who you come from, where you come from, homie. You'll be all right, dog.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I know you ain't from the streets, but my best suggestion, dog, if you're here, you're trying to come over, or you're trying to get that permit or you whatever, save up your feria. Mm-hmm. And I tell I trip out when my uncle's like, why did we come here? Mm-hmm. All my cousins in Mexico, they're living good, homie. They live out there in Tlaquepaque. Mm-hmm. They got some big pads. They're good, homie. They eat good, work good. They're good, homie, you know? They're living better than us, homie. Right here, you work day and night. You work from dusk till dawn and
Pay these bills.
pay all the freaking bills at the end of it. That past not even yours.
Yeah.
Oh, no. You still got to pay taxes every freaking year.
Right.
You know? You're stressed about all the things that's going on. Yeah, we got technology. We got all that. That's fear, man. I get it. But to live life, to really enjoy it, homie, just to lay low and relax and really, take everything in. I figure about another 7 years, I might shoot out there to Ensenada and all that.
Yeah.
It's beautiful out there, bro.
Oh yeah, plenty of
Past all
property.
that,
Yep.
La Paz, San Felipe, all those areas, they're feeding, man, bro. You know,
Nice.
All to Guanajuato and all that. Those are beautiful places, and I'll sit there and I'll ask questions. Like, hey, bro, you go down there? He goes, oh man, I just talked to Abato yesterday. Like, hey, bro, tell me, bro, why don't you move down there? He goes, the finances is just different.
Yeah.
But guess what? I go, what? I'm there every 2 months. I'm like, nah, serio? He goes, yeah, I'm there every 2 months. He goes, it's coming down to the nitty gritty where I'm ready to move out there for good, As long as I sell everything, I'll be good and I could live a good life out there.
Imagine.
And it's like taking it easy, homie. Out here we work. It's funny because when I'm down there, I go to Rosarito, I go to, I've been to Tecate, Rosarito, all Baja.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They'll ask me, like, how you doing out there? How's the sales? How's this? And like, all right. I go, well, why don't you come over and sell your product out there? He goes, oh, hell no. He
The
goes,
stress.
oh, hell no.
Yeah, the stress.
He goes, I got visa, I got permits. My daughter was born over there. But as soon as I was out there for about a year, I was good. I made enough money. I came back and lived my life. I get to enjoy life, they tell me.
Yeah, bro.
I enjoy life. I'm not stressed like you guys.
Right.
Look at you. I see you coming in and out, doing this, doing that, doing this. Like, that's not our life out here. Our life is slow.
Exactly.
We get to enjoy it. We get to throw off the chanclas and put the feet up and relax. As soon as it's 5 o'clock, that's it. We'll survive okay, Just different from you guys. But all of them, bro, they don't want to come over here.
No,
all the wholesalers, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, no.
No, they know.
They
They
like,
know.
And then one of my old wholesalers, he came over here to the pad and everything. I was like, come on, let's go for a cruise. I took him out for a cruise, and he's all like, you want something to eat, homie? He goes, yeah. And I took him to a burger joint.
Yeah.
I figured you'd get some real burgers and fries, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, he goes, dame un burrito mejor. Like, come
Yeah.
on, fool. You get that
They're home.
you get the real stuff. He goes,
They're so accustomed to the home the home meal, everything. Think about it. My wife does that. She do I give her an option? Do you want to go out to eat in a restaurant, or do you want to go eat some beans at home? Beans at home. People are content knowing that they can have. They're content with what they have. And you're right. The lifestyle that they have, it's a complete different lifestyle than ours. They don't have to worry about paying paying taxes. I think over there they call it el predial or something. I think they once a year, but it's not outrageous like out here.
Yeah.
They're not paying no $7,000 or $8,000 for your tax, your home tax. They're not dealing with the taxes that you pay on all from the labor.
yeah.
And then they're not dealing with the $3,000 to $4,000 to pay on your mortgage and your rent.
In Ensenada, homie, like all by the beach.
Yeah.
It's not raza.
No, it's all getting.
It's whites, Germans,
Yeah.
Koreans.
Yeah.
Some raza, but most of them, like, they're mixed. Like, if we could have like, the pad that my homeboy has cost him $30,000.
Wow.
2-story pad that he built, that he put together, about 30 grand, bro.
Wow.
That house, that property here would be like $2 million.
Oof.
$2 million.
And it's all paid for.
Yeah,
You
and
mean, like,
his house is maybe like 1, 2, 3 houses away from the ocean.
Wow.
You know,
Man.
And it's like ridiculous. Holmes is like, how much, homie? He goes, about 30,000 to put it all together. Like,
But you know what? He buckled down and he took care of it.
yeah,
He thought about his future. He saw the potential, and boom, bro. I actually went to visit. Well, I was on vacation a couple weeks, probably a month ago, and going out there to Cancun. Well, everybody's making a lot of the investors, people that are making money, is people from Europe, people from the United States that are investing money into the hotel industry.
yeah,
Quintana Roo actually, out of 70% out of their IDP, I think, or the money that they bring in to the States, 70% is from hotels.
yeah.
Think about it. They don't have to worry about, the hard labor. That's why you have a lot of people are like making a kill. Bro, people out there working in the hotels, you're making like $6,000 a month. And you're working off of the hotel. You just work there, doing the dishes or delivering the food to the gringos or whatever, the visitors. You're making $6,000 a month.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah, that's pretty feeding, dog. To me, I think like 7 more years. I think for me, and yeah, that's true. Go back to Mexico, but my friends, they don't have any money to leave. They would love to go back to Mexico. That's what Stan the Man says.
Oh, Stan.
Okay, go back home, but they have a paycheck here. No, it's true. They
Yeah.
got a paycheck here, but they get so stuck into that paycheck. You know what I mean? They get so stuck into this.
It's the
life.
hamster wheel.
Yeah.
It's like the continual running into the hamster wheel. Like,
Yeah.
we got to make money. We got to make money because we got to pay the bills. We got to pay the credit cards. We got to pay,
Yeah.
pay. And at the end of the day, that's not life, man.
That's not life, bro. I told the kids this. I go, look, if it comes down to it, and then they're gonna come after us, and we're raza, and they're coming after us like, hey, Dad. I go, look, this is the plan, mijo. We'll haul everything down there. Excuse me. We'll haul the machine. We'll haul some of the product and all the metal that we need.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start cutting metal out there in Mexico, and we'll haul the lonchera down there. I'll flip it out of a store. I'll put it into a righteous lonchera.
Mm-hmm.
I go, we'll sling tacos out of that.
There you go.
We'll have the machine shop,
Yeah.
and we'll haul the trailer with all the quads and all that. And if it comes down to the nitty gritty, we'll sell the toys. It's okay. The trailer and the toys and all that, man, that's worth some feria, bro.
Yeah.
If we could have that, mijo, we could sell all that. We'll be okay out there. We'll take off in the troca, haul everything down there, and we'll drive the panel down there, little by little. And he's all like, yeah, Dad, it's true. Which is true, Holmes. You know what I mean? If it comes down to the nitty gritty, and they said that they're coming after us now, then you know what? Let's start packing up. Let's start doing this, and let's go build up a good life out there. With so much stuff that we have and little feria put away, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
If worse comes down to work, man, you could take advantage of this system if you know how to do it right.
Yeah.
We're already American. We're born here.
Mm-hmm.
We already, if you know the system, how to work it, you could kind of work it, and we'll be okay. We'll have some income coming in, and we'll go back and forth, and we'll develop it out there in San Felipe somewhere, and
Nice, beautiful.
Start
You just work. You come out here. You work for 4 days, and then you go and stay over there in your house for 3 days. Not having to deal with it.
and we'll be all right. I told my son, don't worry about it. We'll be good, But it's pretty crazy, So Stan said, oh, what's up, you guys out there in Facebook world? What's up, man? Hey, saludos to everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for always following us, man. And I didn't go on TikTok, but man, that TikTok's been blowing up pretty good,
Yeah.
Anyways, anything else before we close, my brother?
No, brother. I mean, it's a good conversation, bro. I've been telling people out there, man, people that are coming to me and telling me, bro, what do you think about this? I said, bro, I grew up in the 90s, bro. I seen a lot of things, and I just feel that this is the same routine. It's the Latino community being put in the hamster wheel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is the same thing, the race baiting, and and we look at the politics, and then nothing happens. In 4 years, you're gonna still continue to. We're gonna have this discussion 4 years from now, and say, look at what happened. Nothing happened. We all just went out there and tore down our buildings, did everything we did. We got people hurt from the cops or whatever, the police, and nothing happened, because at the end of the day, it requires all these politicians from the right or the left, the blue or the red, to work together and to really find a solution for, immigration. And I think for the most part, who got close was Bill Clinton. That's the only guy that got close to it. Other than that, all the presidents past, it's been like we've always been held with the carrot.
Yeah.
We're going to take care of you guys. We're going to dingle the carrot that, we're going to make it this time. We're going to make it this time. But nothing happens, man.
The last one I was to say, Ronald Reagan, he was.
Ronald Reagan. He did the amnesty,
Yeah, he was the one. But other than that, they just throw on the carrot out there and they fetch it.
Yeah.
I blame both parties was taking
both
place
of them
right now. Both of them, blue and red, homie. I'm being honest. I blame both parties, homie. Not just because Trump is up there. What led him to be like that, homie? What led him? You made fun of him.
Yeah.
You mocked him and you let everybody in. He wasn't tripping at first,
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden they started rebelling in the White House and all that. And I blame both parties, homie. But shoulda, coulda, woulda. It's here. Now we got to take care of each other. Let's do good, man.
That's it.
All right, pues, Raza, we're going to end up today. And you got a scripture you want to close up with?
Yeah, brother. Let me grab it real quick. Hey, don't forget, for you that if you're in the YouTube yarda, man, don't forget that we are going. If the folks over there, man, if they want to see the double angles, hit us up on YouTube. We are actually at the same thing at the Rockin Chicano YouTube. Find us in there because you'll be able to see what's going on in here with multiple angles, and you'll be able to hear. Also, Anthony's phone is great, man. I'm not, not playing
My
anything.
phone sucks, but it's gotten stories. The new one that I have, it's pretty good. That's the one I do all the reels, some of the reels.
Right, that's the S23, no? The Galaxy?
24, 25, I think. I don't know. No, it's out there. It's expensive. But they work.
Man.
I record, download it into the computer, and do all the editing and whatnot.
But I seen all the all the stuff that you do, man. It's really nice.
It's okay.
It's super nice.
Okay. I think I'd rather have the cinefilm that you have here in front of us.
Oh man, that
I would love to just, but then again, I got to take the chip off. We got to transfer it, and man, that's a lot.
That's the thing.
You gotta go through the computer.
You gotta go through that. You gotta go through here. You can grab it off the computer too, but you're right. You have to go through the whole editing process, man.
But we'll be all right. What you got, homie?
Hey, man. So I wanted to give you guys a Bible verse because it's important right now. Man, this one here. Hold on, I'm finding it, man. I thought I had it right here and I had it ready, and I started doing all this stuff, man. Bear with me as I continue, man. Man, hold on.
Hit it with the ones without sin. Let him cast the first stone. Ooh,
golly.
Oh, and it says one by one, just drop the stone.
Yeah. Oh man, hold on, man. I was just going in here, man. Here we are. I found it, man. Sorry about that, man. I was going through all my notes, man. There's just so much, man.
Yeah.
So I want to actually one of the
camera at you.
Which one? Oh, the camera.
Yeah, because the camera's on me, homie.
Oh, sorry about that, man. Hey, so I wanted to read this verse because it's very important, man. One of the things that I wanted to talk about really quickly, it's about the heart that cries to trust. One of the things that it says here as I was, putting this together, and it's kind of like a prayer. So it comes in like a prayer. It says, Lord, it says like this: I confess that trusting you isn't always easy. So it comes in as the hardest thing we can do is trusting the Lord in situations, right? Is it our finances, our medical situations, our relationships, our, everything that we're seeing around us? See, when we have all these distractions, the hardest things to do sometimes is to try to put God into these situations. But we must trust the Lord on these situations because it says like this: when storms rages, right? When a storm rages, you know, and answers are slow. Sometimes people want to get an answer right away, and they say, "Hey, answer! You're telling God, answer me right away." But the thing about it is, you got to understand that sometimes in your situation, the most important thing to do is to stand firm in that situation and be patient, because God is trying to teach you something. It's important to understand that we don't want to maneuver ourselves and move away from that situation that you're encountering, because God wants to mold you. He wants to he wants to show you something. And if you move away from it so quick, you might miss it. You might miss that, you know, in that particular situation where you're asking God for trust, that you want to trust him, that you want him to fix the situation. And God is trying to tell you, but I want to give you more than that. I want to give you the key where you don't have to rely heavily on me, and you can take on these decisions or these situations only if you waited a little longer. Because what happens through patience builds, you know, what happened? Not only does it build character, but it also builds perseverance to overcome certain challenges. Mm-hmm. So when you're looking at the storm and you're looking at your situation and you want to move quickly, just learn to lean on the Lord. Learn to trust on him, that in that situation that you're encountering and you're seeing, God really wants to show you a deeper relationship with him, where he's going to show you how to overcome these situations, so you don't rely all the time on him. Yeah. Because God, what happened? Jesus gave us the authority. He says, so I give you the authority, what? Not only to trample the snakes and the serpents, right? But sometimes what happened? We want to always come back to God and say, no, you trample them for me. No, you take care of those things for me. But God is saying, but I want to teach you how to take care of these situations yourself. But only you had to be patient and wait on it, endure it. And in endurance, God is going to show us something. God is really going to show us how to overcome certain situations. So stand firm, trust on the Lord, knowing that those things that you're encountering, wait a little bit. Just learn from it. And always when you're in those situations, always ask God, why are you in those situations? And really learn how to take some certain situations, certain things from whatever you're encountering. Because at the end of the day, God always wants to teach us something. But always find that in trials, he's teaching you something.
Yeah.
He wants to prepare you for something. So trust on God.
That's right. And don't sell the ranch, homie. Don't sell the ranch. No vendas, güey. Wait up, fool. Don't sell the ranch. It'll be all right, homie. The cows are gonna give milk.
It'll be fine.
The chickens are gonna give the eggs away. You know what I mean? Todo va a salir bien.
Everything's gonna be fine, man.
Everything's gonna be good. Don't sell the ranch. You'll be all right. All right, pues, raza. We end with that. Trust in God, homie. Everything be all right, homie.
You're gonna be fine, man.
Leave a message, inbox me if you got a question or anything, and check out my webpage, Rockin Chicano. Purchase something for your homeboy, your homegirl, your Sancha, your Sancho, or your baby mama that you don't like her. You know what I mean? You can make her a topper that disrespects her, like, hey, cuéntate, vieja, you know? Or no more child support. Oh, I should make one up. Make a topper, no more child support.
Yep.
All right,
I paid my dues.
Much love and respects to everybody, homie.
Take care, everyone.